Again, it's me, it's Roger. I am your host for the Style Sessions, and today we're featuring a very unique style from Germany. It's called the Altbier. And Altbiers are really interesting. We don't see very many of them in the industry these days because I suppose people are more into ales that have this kind of characteristic, but more British ales than anything else, or American brown ales. So let me tell you about what we're featuring first and foremost, and then I can pour it for you. We can talk about the tasting attributes, and then we'll go into a little bit of the history. The history's not long on this one. So today I'm featuring from Great Lakes Brewery in Toronto, Ontario, their beer called Old Dusseldorf. And that is really important because that's where alt beers come from. So Old Dusseldorf, as we pour into our Prague glass, because I want to bring out some more of the really cool malt characteristics in this glass. So I've got beautiful pour, right amount of foam in there. So when you take a look at this beer, you're going to notice that it isn't anywhere near as dark as porters or stouts that we've featured in the past. It's probably closer in color to a British mild or even a British brown ale, which I think is a good comparison. It's got this old ivory cream colored foam on it. It is crystal clear as always, and the color we can describe as mahogany, burgundy, reddish brown. It's got these beautiful tones. Like, they're really gorgeous beers to look at. Aromatics on it are more on the dark fruit side, roasted nuts, so things like raisins, dates, figs, prunes. A little bit, this particular beer has a little bit of coffee and a little bit of chocolate notes, not very much and very mild. Roasted nuts are a big part of this style of beer, so things like roasted hazelnuts. You tend to get a little toffee on there and brown breads. Really cool beer to drink. But like I said, you don't see very much of it. The finish is moderate. Aftertaste is moderate. It's not excessively long, but the aftertaste comes with a little bit of mild coffee, a little bit of mild chocolate, but more of those roasted nuts. The flavor profiles on the aromatics are the same in your mouth. So you're going to get that dark fruit note. You're going to get a little bit more of the roasted nuts, more of the toffee, caramel, and the brown breads are going to show up as well. It's a really interesting beer because it drinks a little lighter than a lot of traditional British brown beers. And I'll explain why in a sec. So this style was really first created as its name, Altbier, in 1838 in the Schumacher Brewery in Dusseldorf, Germany. So Dusseldorf is in the Rhinelands. Now, to understand a little bit about what alt means old in German. And this is an old beer. It's not aged for excessively long periods of time, and it's not a style that goes back thousands of years, but old really refers to old method. And the old method in Germany in the 1830s was to use ale yeast, because everybody in Germany, in the collective provinces that now make up Germany, were predominantly switching over to lager yeasts. And so lager yeast meant cold fermentations, cold aging. But two significant areas in Germany, the brewers in Cologne and the brewers in Dusseldorf, both decided that they wanted to stay with the more traditional old methods of brewing, and that is by using ale yeast. So to this day, alt beers are still using ale yeast, but the difference is they go through cold maturation and cold aging. So it tends to lend to a smoother, easier drinking beer. Like I said, you don't see very many of these in the marketplace. This one is exceptional. I've only in my lifetime in the beer world have seen one original alt beer from Germany. And it's very reminiscent of this one from Great Lakes. So search out your local craft brewers, see if they're making alt beers. Ask if they would consider making them for you. I don't think they're overly complex to make. I think you just need the right yeast strain, the right temperatures, the right ingredients, and you end up with this great complex beer that's got lots of body, lots of flavor, but it's a little bit more easy to drink and a little bit more thirst quenching. So I've got a doozy for you next time. Next time we get together, we're going to take a look at imperial stouts. And imperial stouts are really interesting because they come from different styles again, and we'll talk about the porter references and stout references. So I hope you can join me on our next session of the style sessions, and that will feature imperial stouts, and we'll see you soon.